The Adventure with Midge, the Miller's Son. When the 4 yeomen had travelled for a long time towards Sherwood again, high noontide being past, they began to wax hungry. Quoth Robin Hood, I would that I had somewhat to eat. Methinketh of good loaf of white bread, with a piece of snow-white cheese washed down with a draught of humbling ale, were a feast for a king. Since thou speakest of it, said Will Scarlet, me with it would not be amiss myself. There is that within me crieth out, Victuals, good friend, victuals. I know a house nearby, said Arthur a Bland, and had I but the money I would bring ye that ye speak of, to wit, a sweet loaf of bread, a fair cheese, and a skin of browl ale. For the matter of that, thou knowest I have my money by me, quoth good master, quoth Little John. Why, so thou hast, Little John, said Robin. How much money will it take, good Arthur, to buy us meat and drink? I think that 6 broad pennies will buy food for a dozen men, said the tanner. Then give him 6 pennies, Little John, quoth Robin, for methinketh food for 3 men will about fit my need. Now get thee gone, Arthur, with the money, and bring the food here, for that is a sweet shade in the thickest yonder, beside the road, and there will be our meal eaten. So Little John gave Arthur the money, and the other stepped to the thickest that to await the return of the tanner. After a while he came back, bearing with him a great brown loaf of bread and a fair round cheese, and a goatskin full of stout March beer slung over his shoulder. Then Will Scarlet took his sword and divided the loaf and the cheese into 4 fair portions, and each man helped himself. Then Robin Hood took a deep pull at the beer. Ah, said he, drawing in his breath, never have I tasted sweeter drink than that. After this no man spoke more, but each munched away at his bread and cheese lustily, with ever and anon a pull at the beer. At last Will Scarlet looked at a small piece of bread he still had in his hand, and quoth he, Methinketh I will give this to the sparrows. So throwing it from him, he brushed the crumbs from his jerkin. I too, quoth Robin, have had enough, I think. As for Little John and the tanner, they had by this time eaten every crumb of their bread and cheese. Now, quoth Robin, I do feel myself another man, and would fain enjoy something pleasant before going farther upon our journey. I do bethink me, Will, that thou doest use to have a pretty voice, and one that turneth sweetly upon a song. Pray thee, give us one ere we journey farther. Truly I do not mind turning a tune, answered Will Scarlet, but I would not sing alone. Nay, others will follow. Strike up, lad, quoth Robin. In that case 'tis Will, said Will Scarlet. I do call in mind a song that a certain Miss Sillard used to sing in my father's hall upon occasion. I know no name for it, and so can I give none, but this is it. Then, clearing his throat, he sung. In the merry blossom time, when love longings food the breasts, when the flower in and on the lime, when the small fool builds her nest, sweetly sings the nightingale, and the throstle cock so bold, cuckoo in the dale, and the turtle in the wood. But the robin I love dear, for he singeth through the year. Robin, Robin, merry Robin, so I'd have my true love be, not to fly at the night, sing of cold adversity. When the spring bringeth sweet delights, when aloft the lark does rise, lovers woo mellow nights, and youths peep in maidens' eyes. The time blooms the eglantine, daisies pied up on the hill, cowlitz fair and columbine, dusky violets by the rill. But the ivy green cloth grow, when the north wind bringeth snow. Ivy, ivy, stanch and true, thus I have her love to be, not to die at the night brief of cold adversity. This sung well, quoth Robin, but cousin, I tell thee plain, I would rather hear a stout fellow like thee sing some lusty ballad than a finicking song of flowers and birds, and what not. Yet thou didn't sing it fair, and this none so bad a snatch of a song, for the matter of that. Now, tenor, it is thy turn. I know not, quoth Arthur, smiling, with his head on one side, like a budding lass that is asked to dance. I know not that I can match our sweetest friend's song. Moreover, I do verily think that I have caught a cold, and have a certain thicking and huskiness in the windpipe. Nay, sing up, own friend, quoth Little John, who sat next to him, patting him up on the shoulder. Thou hast a fair, round, mellow voice. Let's us have a touch of it. Nay, and ye will ha a poor thing, said Arthur. I will do my best. Have ye heard of the wooing of Sir Kent, that stout young Cornish knight in good King Arthur's time? Methinketh I have heard somewhat of it, said Robin, but nevertheless strike up thy ditty, and let us hear of it. For, as I do remember me, it is a gallant song, so out with it, good fellow. Thereupon, clearing his throat, the tenor without more ado began to sing. The Wooing of Sir Kent. King Arthur sat in his royal hall, and about on either hand was many a noble lordlings tall, the greatest in the land. Sir Lancelot with raven locks, Gawain with golden hair, Sir Tristram Kay who kept the locks, and many other there. And though the strained windows bright from over the red tilted eaves, the sunlight blazed with coloured light in golden helms and greaves. But suddenly a silence came about the table round, for up the hall there walked a dame bent nigh unto the ground. Her nose was hooked, her eyes were bleared, her locks were long and white. Upon her chin there grew a beard, she was a gruesome sight. And so with crawling steps she came, and kneeled at Arthur's feet. Quoth Kay, she is the foolest dame that e'er my sight did greet. O mighty king, of thee I crave a one on bended knee. This was, 'tis she spoke. What wouldest thou have? Quoth Arthur, king, of me. Quoth she, I have a foul disease, doth gnave my very heart, and but one thing can bring me ease, our cure my bitter smart. There is no rest, no ease for me, north, east, or west, or south, till Christian knight will willingly thrice kiss me on the mouth. Nor where it may this child have been that grieved it ease to me, nor may he be constrained, I ween, but kiss me willingly. So is there here one Christian knight of such a noble strain, that he will give a tortured wight sweet ease of moral pain? A wedded man, quoth Arthur, king, a wedded man I be, else would I deem it noble thing to kiss thee willingly. No, Lancelot, in all men's sight thou art the head of chivalry. Come, noble knight, and give her quick relief. But Lancelot he turned aside, and looked up on the ground, for it did sting his haughty pride to hear them loud laugh around. Come thou, Sir Tristram, quoth the king. Quoth he, I cannot be, for ere can my stomach bring to do it willingly. Wilt thou, Sir Kay, thou scornful wight? Quoth Kay, nay, by my troth. What noble dame would kiss a knight that kissed so full the mouth? Wilt thou, Gawain? I cannot, king. Say, Sir Geraint, nay, not I. My kisses no relief could bring, for sooner would I die. Then up and spake the youngest man of all about the broad. Now such relief as Christian can, I give to her, my lord. It was Sir Keith, a youthful knight, yet strong of limb and bold, with beard upon his chin as light as finest threads of gold. Quoth Kay, he haveth no mistress yet, that he may call his own. But here is one that's quickest to get, as she herself has shown. He kissed her once, he kissed her twice, he kissed her 3 times o'er. A wondrous change came in a trice, and she was fool no more. Her cheeks grew red as any rose, her brow as white as lawn. Her bosom like the winter snows, her ears like those of fawn. Her breath grew sweet as summer breeze, the blows the meadows o'er ye. Her voice grew soft as rustling trees, and cracked and harsh no more. Her hair grew glittering like the gold, her hands as white as milk. Her feathery ranks so full and old were changed to robes of silk. In great amaze the knights did stare. Quoth Kay, I make my vow, if it will please thee, lady fair, I'll gladly kiss thee now. But young Sir Keith, kneeling on one knee, and kissed her robe so fair, O let me be thy slave, said he, for none to thee compare. She bent her down, she kissed his brow, she kissed his lips and eyes. Quoth she, thou art my master now, my lord, my love arise. And all the wealth that is my own, my lads, I give to thee, for never knight hath lady shown such noble courtesy. Bewitched was I, in bitter pain, but thou hast set me free. So now I am myself again, I give myself to thee. Yea, truly, quoth Robin, and the tenor had made an end to his singing. It is, as I remember it, a fair ditty and ballad, with a pleasant tune of a song. It haveth otherwise seemed to me, said Will Scarlet, that it hath a certain motive in it, ere such as this, that a duty which seemings to us seemingly ugly and harsh, when we do kiss it faintly upon the mouth, so to speaking, is no such fool thing after all. Methinketh thou art right, quoth Robin, and can't rise that when we kiss a present that apparently gay it turned fool to us, is it not so, Little John? Truly such a thing hath brought thee some thumbs this day. Nay, man, never look down in the mouth. Clearly the pipes and singers a ditty. Nay, said Little John, I have none such affair as it merry Arthur has told. They are all poor things that I know. Moreover, my voice is not in tune today, and I would not spoil even a troublesome song by ill singing. Upon this all pressed Little John to sing, so that when he had denied them a proper length of time, such as it seemingly in one that had asked to sing, he presently yield, quothing he, Well, an ye will ha it so, I give you what I can. Like to fair will I have not title to my ditty, but thus it runs. O lady mine, the spring is here, with a he, nonny nonny, the sweet love season of the year. With a ninny ninny nonny, no lad and lass lie in the grass, that growth green with flowers between. The lark doth rest, the leaves do start, the cock doth crow, the breeze doth blow, and all things laugh in. Who, my young fellow, be coming along the road? Said Robin, breaking into the singing. I know not, quoth Little John in a surly voice, but this is to know, that it is an ill thing to do to check the flow of a good song. Nay, Little John, said Robin, be not vexed, I pray thee, but I have been watching him coming along, bent beneath the great leg over his shoulder, ever since thou didst begin to sing. Little John, look, I pray thee, and see it thou knowest him. Little John looketh beneath Robin Hood, pointing. Truly, quoth he after a time, I think yon fellow is a certain young miller I have seen now and then about the edge of Sherwood. A poor wight, mean thinking to spoil a good song about it. Now, thou speakest of him, quoth Robin Hood, methinketh I myself have been seeing him now and then. Haveth he not a mill beyond over Nottingham town, not to the Salisbury road? Thou art right, that is the man, said Little John. A good stout fellow, quoth Robin. I saw him crack net o' Brentford's crown about a nightford since, and never saw I hair lifted more neatly in all my life before. By this time the young miller had come so near that they could see him clearly. His clothes were dusted with flour, and over his back he carried a great sack of meal. Bending so as to bring the whole weight over his shoulder, and across the sack was a thick quarterstaff. His limbs were stout and strong, and he stood along the dusty road right steadily, with a heavy sack over his shoulders. His cheeks were ruddy as a winter hip, his hair was flaxed in colour, and his chin was a downy growth of flaxen bread.